Chilling tales for dark nights.
Knuckle's Supper. Written by Stepek. Performed here by Jason Hill. Chapter 24. Traitors. Dark and early the next morning, Fat Mac made his way into our jail. Herman greeted him between push-ups. It was safe to say that beyond his exposed skull, the Rasta was fully ready to reclaim his throne as king of the vampires. Father McAteer instructed not Tim to open Herman's food hole at the bottom of the front of his bars as he reached into his St. Matthew's duffel bag. Interested, I sat up on my cot to get a scenic view of the surprise gift. The priest bent over and kicked the plastic object from the bag into Herman's cell. It slid across the filth-covered floor. Mid-push-up, Herman tapped it with his left hand. What the fuck is this? Protection and precautions, Fat Mac responded. Acrobatically, my cellmate snapped to his feet, gripping the present between his hands. He took a second to study it, like Hamlet talking to the jester's skull. Then, he projected the object back at the bars. No chance, no way! Through the bars, Fat Mac punched it back to him. I'm afraid it's all we have to protect you at such short notice. We did not realize that you were going to be scalped when we apprehended you. Like a soccer striker, Herman stopped the object again and then rested his size 22 foot on top of it. I would not drop your weight on it, Mac warned. If you do not wear it, you will not be allowed to leave here. Incensed at what he thought Fat Mac was saying about him, Herman flipped the object on top of his foot and kicked it up to his hand again. I ain't some special needs kid. As he continued to holler, I got a good look at the cloth's gift. It was a hockey helmet with 2 bolts on either side. From what I made out, it had a halo of wires and soft bandages jury-rigged on top to brace his head. Rather than any face mask, the headgear had 3 sharp hacksaw blades soldered across the front. On top of the corkscrew collar, the cloth wanted to provide themselves with extra precautions when dealing with Herman. Mac attempted to appeal to Herman's sense of safety. If we send you out there without it, you're worthless to us. The helmet will secure onto your head and onto the bandages inside, only lightly grazing the vulnerable portion of your cranium. It will not be comfortable, but it might just save you. My self-pity about my youth suddenly escaped me. Hey, look at that, Herman, I chuckled. It's an LA Kings helmet. Now you're really a king. Shut the hell up, Reynolds, he sneered, throwing the helmet toward my cell. Indeed, Mac continued, trying to sweeten a salty deal. The Los Angeles Kings donated a lot of equipment for a roller hockey league that St. Matthew's created for underprivileged children in the surrounding neighborhoods. One of the former players was quite portly, and his head was too big for any of the professional-grade helmets. As a gift, they had that helmet custom-made. Come on, Herms. The cloth needs us for one thing and one thing only. Fat Mac nodded approvingly. I picked the helmet up again and tossed it to him. You're no good to me or yourself if we go into a house filled with others like us if they see your head looking like Humpty Dumpty. We're screwed. Do you want to kill these bastards and get to Copperhead, or do you want to sit in that cell and wait for these assholes, I pointed to Fat Mac, real Tim and not Tim, to kill you when they realize you're not doing jack or shit for them? We're as good as dead no matter what. You might as well get even with that traitor. I winked at him with my left eye, letting him know that our escape was still in play. He slapped it to the concrete floor again and mumbled, What was that? I asked. I didn't catch that. I'm not a Kings fan, he whined as he bent over, picked it up and tossed it onto his bed. I'm a Blackhawks fan. Somewhat satisfied that we'd convinced Herman that the helmet was mandatory, Fat Mac shifted gears. We decided that we want you to find Des and this girl. Without hesitating, I questioned his sudden change of heart. Don't you mean you want them dead? No, we want them here, he assured me. With no intention of fulfilling that end of the new bargain, I played along. Okay. When and where are we going? Tonight, Mac responded. West Hollywood. He said the girl was with the homosexuals. After we get her to safety, we will seek out Des. Speaking without thinking, I asked, and what if Eldridge is there? Confused, real Tim and not Tim looked at each other. Fat Mac lowered his head. Eldridge? It hadn't occurred to me that Eldridge wasn't even on the cloth's radar. He was, after all, raised by wolves in the mountain regions of northern Canada. Herman started. Yeah, he's the doorman there, at the Batwanger's whorehouse. I cut him off before we caused too much damage. The guy doesn't have a lot of love for battlesnakes or knucklers. I shifted my eyes at Herman to play along. Herman bumbled his way through the lie. Yeah, I hate that fairy homo. I clenched my teeth together to get him to shut up. Fat Mac looked at both of us, debating if something was afoot. Satisfied, however, he reached into his duffel bag and tossed each of us a large bag of fresh blood. Please be ready. As the three of them headed back down the hall to leave, Not Tim turned and pointed to his eyes with his index finger and middle finger, and then flipped his hand around to point to us. I'm watching you, he mouthed. Herman turned around, pulled his pants down, bent over and shoved his balls backwards. Watch this, bitch! We looked at each other and erupted into laughter. I fell over, knocking my IV stand on the floor. I think we might have even high-fived. Good evening. This is Jason Hill, host of the Horror Hill podcast. You've been listening to a chapter from the award-winning novel Knuckle Supper by best-selling author Drew Stepek. Knuckle Supper, Ultimate Gutter Fix Edition, and its critically acclaimed sequel, Knuckleballed, are available now from Bloodbound Books. Check out the links in the video description and sticky comments below to pick up a copy today and show your support for indie horror. Also, please consider making a donation to Children of the Night today and help end teen prostitution and human trafficking. Children of the Night is a privately funded non-profit organization established in 1979 with the specific purpose of providing intervention in the lives of children who are sexually exploited and vulnerable to, or involved in, prostitution and pornography. Visit childrenofthenight.org for more information today. From author Drew Stepek and all of us here at Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, thanks for listening and for your support.
Chilling Tales for Dark Nights.